Yes, everyone, hello. Welcome back to another live show here on FUTV TV. I'm Adam, bringing you completely up to date with all the news in and around Manchester United. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, the 19th of September. It's press conference day for Ruben Amorim today. He's going to be a bit of a spiky one today, isn't it, at Carrington? Especially with the journalists that were at the start of the week completely burying Ruben Amorim with all of these rumours going around about all of the unrest. Well, this apparently now has been put to bed. Yesterday, meetings were held, scheduled meetings were held, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe flying in on his helicopter to speak to Ruben Amorim. And on the agenda was Manchester United's form. What was said and what were the outcomes of that meeting? We're going to talk about that in the morning show today, right now. Also, Manchester United's overspend by over 100 million on the club credit card. Not been talked about yet in the finances, but the Athletic have picked this one out as well. Is Marcus Rashford's form really a problem, showing that it isn't just the players at Manchester United? What's going on? Is it the system? Is it the players? That's our debate this morning, everybody. I want to get your thoughts in the live chat, so get in there. Give me your comments and let me know what you're thinking right now. Did you see Marcus Rashford last night? We covered it on Football Talks, our other channel. Watch that game on the watch along. Marcus Rashford, star performance. Even I had to admit last night that Rashford really was hitting his mark again. It was the old Marcus Rashford. We'll touch on that later on. The most important thing is Ruben Amorim has made it very, very clear to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, like we were told at the start of the week by Sully and a few other people, this is not the system. I am not going to change. This is never, ever going to work if we change now. So, clearly, there is somebody else to blame. It's something else that's going on at Manchester United that's to blame. Like, who else can you blame apart from the players? That's how I look at it right now. And I'm not saying he's throwing his players under the bus here, because he's not come out in public and done this. Just like he didn't come out in public and say that he told Garnacho to find another club. He didn't do that. It's been reported, and it's the Athletic that's come out and said these things and talked about it. And this is what's being said now from these meetings that happened yesterday. We'll get into that first of all. Also, in this video, I'm going to prove how the 3-4-3 formation works for Manchester United. You won't like it, and you will probably think, I'm pretty certain you'll think it's going to be impossible for Manchester United to replicate. But stick around for that. I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. Hello, everyone. Hello. It is FUTV United TV. Let's get into what did happen at Carrington yesterday. It's been a whirlwind, hasn't it, of a week for Man United. Feels very strange. We've been covering all of the Champions League this week on Football Talks, the other channel, and it's felt strange, Manchester United just not having a midweek game. And it's off the back of a horrible game like the derby, losing 3-0 to City. It's difficult to find any positives throughout the week, and most people have dug out the negatives. But what you will find within the media and within circles around Manchester United is when there is time, there is always another narrative or something else pushed out to how Manchester United want it to be. So at the start of the week, like we said, we had all of the unrest, the players giving up on Ruben Amorim, not liking the system. All of that news came out. Then we had problems again with Kobe Mainoo, potential suitors for him not fitting into the system. All of the obvious negative stuff after a really bad result. That's just normal for Manchester United. But towards the end of the week, you will start to see, if there is no game in between to scupper everything, more of a positive front being pushed out by the football club. And this is what I think we've had now in the back end of this week. It started to turn around a little bit again. And just before the Chelsea game, you will be convinced that Manchester United are all well and it is full-on harmony at the football club. And that's how it's been reported. Now, I just want to make that clear, because I'm not saying that Ruben Amorim is definitely right here. I'm not saying that the players are completely off the hook here at all. I just wanted to make that clear that this is what happens, and sometimes you get convinced by other opinions and other reports to what you were thinking at the start of the week. You are right in what you thought. Man United were horrible against Manchester City, and we've got 1 win in 5. You cannot ignore the obvious. So, Sir Jim Ratcliffe flies in, and this is where this story starts to spin a different way into a more of a positive look on things. The harmony and the full support behind Ruben Amorim at Manchester United is very clear. Fabrizio Romano last night, after these meetings, went into detail. So too did the Athletic about what was spoken about. So, first of all, they were scheduled, so we cannot run the story that this was an emergency meeting and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, unless, of course, they've told the media to say that these were scheduled. Like I said, they can drive it whichever way they want. But let's go with trusting the Athletic and saying, and Romano, and saying that these were scheduled meetings. Look, we know that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is hands-on. Romano made a point of saying this at the weekend, saying he wants to be hands-on and find out what the real issue is and really not let things just simmer for a while again while it just gets worse. He wants to hit everything head on and make sure that he can do everything that he possibly can to help things out. What he can do, I've got honestly no idea, to be honest. Like, he can talk to Ruben, but that's not going to change how the players feel about playing in this system. So, scheduled meetings take place. Manchester United's co-owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, has, and this has been confirmed, had face-to-face talks with Ruben Amorim, and the form of the team has been brought up. Romano will go into detail on this a bit more, so we'll use what he said. And he has, again, Ruben Amorim, this is, reiterated his stance from earlier on in the week. And he has made it very, very clear to Ruben Amorim, to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, that there is no problem with the system. It's not the system that's the problem. It is, well, you tell me. This is what you've got to look at now, and this is what you've got to take from this. Because I could easily come on here and say Ruben Amorim throws the players under the bus. He said that it's not the system, it's clearly just the players. And it's all going to go wrong because the players don't believe in him, and he's blaming them for their crap system. Look, I'm not going to run with that. I'm not going to say that. But what is it that's the problem at Manchester United that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is coming in and having meetings about? What can he do to fix this problem? What is the problem that Sir Jim Ratcliffe could actually impact? Well, this is the thing. Like, Ruben is stubbornly sticking to his guns and fully believes in this. And from these meetings, we can quite clearly now say and categorically say that the manager hunt for Manchester United, or so-called manager hunt for Manchester United, is null and void. There is nothing. It's been put to bed. We've covered all of the other reports this week about other managers that might be in the frame. I do believe still at the back of my mind that a club like Manchester United will not be going into this blind in pure hope that Ruben is the answer and they're fully trusting him. But the word from this meeting and what's coming out of Carrington is that it is, like we said yesterday, fully backing Ruben Amorim. There is no other manager in the frame for the position at Manchester United right now. It is all on Ruben Amorim. We can now say that this is put to bed. We are going to have to stick it out with Ruben Amorim, whether you like it or not as a Manchester United fan. This is what's coming out from these meetings in and around Carrington over the last couple of days. Yesterday, in fact, several meetings were held with different members of staff at United. It was the full team. The whole board members were all at Carrington. Obviously, now it is the heart and the centre of everything that goes on now that Carrington has been done and remodelled. So everything is going to be happening from there. That's the base. So everyone had their meetings. Everyone was speaking. Obviously, other club matters were brought up. But Ruben has been given the full-on seal of approval. It is the 3-4-3. The system isn't going to change. We brought up the stats last night. Ruben Amorim, no matter what people say, he's changed his system in-game 7 times compared to other clubs that go up 20 to 40 times in this season so far. He is rigid. He is not going to move. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe is backing him. He is fully backing him. So what can be wrong at Manchester United? If Ruben Amorim is saying that the system isn't the problem, then what is the problem at Manchester United? This is the million-dollar question. Is it just staff members at the club, the way that the club is, the acceptance? We've got rid of everybody. You can't really blame anybody at the football club for what's going on right now. And no matter how far you dig, or if you try and find another problem at Manchester United, to not blame the manager, to not blame the players, you will come up against a brick wall. Because one thing that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos have done, and we know this for certain, is completely scale down that Manchester United staff. Rinse it of everything that was wrong before. There is no more players and people at these former players and people that these players can go to. There is no one they can go and complain to. It is full on Ruben staff. It's full on Ineos staff. From top to bottom, it's been completely rejigged. So there is nothing going on in the running of Manchester United that you could say is the problem here. You can't blame off the field stuff right now, can you? I'm just looking, and I'm looking for a reason to not blame the players right now after what's been said in these meetings. But everything just keeps coming back to them. It's not the system. It's not the way the club's been run. It's not the staff. It's not the standards. It's not what's been done. It's not the money. It's not anything else but the players. That's the only thing that I can come to when looking at what's been said and how these meetings have gone down. There isn't anything else you could really blame, is there? I mean, what can you say? The leaks, the leaks are coming from the players' representatives. Clearly, they must be. So, for instance, you could talk about the culture of Manchester United. You could talk about the leaks coming out. Who's leaking information out? There is still people willing to leak it to these people who are leaking it, and them people are the men in the red shirts. It's got to be, because we're hearing stories about unrest. He's not happy playing there. That can only come from conversations with players at the football club. So really, when this comes out in the news again now, the agents will grab hold of it. And I don't think it's helping, is what I'm saying, really. It's like, honestly, Manchester United cannot do anything without the world knowing. And this is the problem. That the fans just have to look at this now. Because look, we can talk about this and we could say that we're a problem because we're talking about it, for instance. But we're the ones that are paying. We're the ones that are paying for all of this to happen. We deserve to talk about this. We've got the rights to talk about this as supporters. We're the ones that are going to be here suffering for years and years and years. These players will move on and do better. The staff will get other jobs. The managers will get other jobs. We're the ones, and we deserve to be talking about this. So again, Man United cannot do anything without the world knowing about it or the media reporting it. It's just the way that it is at the football club. So I don't know how we eradicate that from Manchester United. What do we do to change what the problem is? Look, there's only two things you can look at here. There's only two more things you can look at. Ruben and the squad. That's it. And from this, no matter what I look at, no matter what part of this football club and how it's run you look at or you dig into, you cannot come out with anything else other than the players or Ruben. There's your problem right there. There is your problem right there. The money's been spent. In fact, The Athletic, before I go into the comment section on this as well, The Athletic have also run a report, Mike Critchley from The Athletic this morning, that Manchester United went into their credit facility, their revolving credit facility, by 105 million this summer as well. So we always knew that there was a chance that Manchester United might be doing this. Everyone was asking, where is this money coming from? Well, according to The Athletic, it was spent on the revolving credit facility, so they spent money they didn't have to try and back the manager and give him the players that he wants. How on earth, in this whole recruitment team, are we looking at trusting a manager and a system and not buying the obvious players for that system? So there's one thing you could possibly say that's wrong with Manchester United other than the squad and Ruben. The recruitment team not going for the midfielder that we needed, or midfielders that we needed in this side. That's probably one thing you could say in this as well. But I tell you what, one thing is for certain. The press conference today, by the way, we'll be covering that again at lunchtime today, the press conference. I think it's going to be the usual roundabouts, 1:15. So we'll be live for that, everybody. So stick to it. Make sure you've subscribed and got your bell notification on for that one later. That's going to be very interesting. And like I said at the start of this show, it's going to be a bit spiky, isn't it? Ruben's going to come out firing, I think, this week. At least he's had a week to prepare for the media. And we haven't had anything in the way. But again, 105 million spent in the overdraft, you could say, or the credit card on Manchester United players, and we're still where we are. Questions are going to be asked, but there is full confidence in Ruben Amorim that this is going to get turned around, and Manchester United are going to start seeing the benefit of what work has been done in the recruitment team, on the training ground at Carrington. We said last night the stats were being used to big up the situation at Manchester United last night, and they feel, well, Jason Wilcox in particular, Omar Barada, that the results will turn around because it's obvious that, according to the data, things are changing at United. Look, I really hope that they're right. I do, because I want it to work for Ruben Amorim. I really want it to work for him. And I'm praying. I'm praying with everything that I've got that this actually does come off for him, because it would be the ultimate change for Manchester United in changing everything, getting rid of so many staff, so many players, bringing it in, ripping up the script completely and going again and rewriting it, and it not working at first, and you're thinking the same old problems are there, the same problems are just going to keep on coming up. It's not working right. Some of these still old guard players are still there, and then it goes as low as it can do, and then we come back It's fairy tale stuff at the moment. That's all I'm saying. I need proof to convince me that this is going to work for Ruben Amorim. I need to see something. I've seen glimpses in certain games, but we're not scoring goals. We have a weak mentality when we go a goal behind. I need to see so much more to be convinced. Data analysis will tell me one thing. I get it. That's the way that football works now. I get it. We have to copy what other clubs have done. We have to copy like Bournemouth, like Brighton, like these clubs, Manchester City, Chelsea. They all do it. Liverpool do it. Every single big club does it. United has been left in the Stone Age, and now we're catching up. And it is telling us something. It is telling us that we are getting further up the pitch, but we're not getting the results. So, again, all of these conversations can only be going about what we could tweak and what we could maybe do. Like I said, I am going to go into how this 3-4-3 works for Ruben Amorim in this system and use a comparison a bit later on. But let's get into the comments section now and see where you're at with this. From this meeting, fully backing Ruben Amorim, and there is no other manager coming in. We are with Ruben, and that's it. Where do we go from here? Let's get these comments flowing. And in the Super Chats, first of all, lack of football IQ amongst some players is one thing. Robbie says the media is the virus and not just with United. That's another Super Chat in. Antonio says with his Super Chats, hi Adam, if I remember correctly, Amorim played 4-3-3/4-4-2. He did that at Sporting in mid-match. A problem is he doesn't want to give in on the players. The thing is with this is, like, on Ruben's side of this, I get that, and some people saying that Ruben's going to look like an idiot if he changes now. I honestly don't care. Like, Ruben, look, the only thing that's going to save him is if he does actually show a bit of flexibility, in my opinion. I do think if he shows a bit of flexibility, people will say, oh, he's giving in to the players here, but if we're winning games, who gives a toss about what people are thinking about Ruben Amorim? Ruben Amorim's winning games. And so, if he is adaptable, I don't think Ruben Amorim is thinking in his head that if I change now, I'm going to look like an idiot. I don't think he is. I think he knows football. I think he's smart enough to realise just tweaking it a bit, or maybe just bending his rule a tiny bit to make it work for certain players, because you cannot expect players to just perform the way that you want them to perform if they're not good enough. So you have to adapt. And I think that's what we've got here right now. And I do believe that there's an element of this from what we said at the top of the show, like who is to blame. It is the players. That's what Ruben's blaming from these meetings, I think. He hasn't got the players he wants. I don't know if it's a go. It's the recruitment for not getting him a midfielder. We're never going to know that, but you can only guess, can't you, really? And what we're looking at from the outside, you could easily drive that argument, couldn't you? And more comments coming in. Arthur says, former players have gone to greater heights while ex-managers have been dismissed by their latest clubs. Clearly something wrong with the managerial recruitment. Well, who else could we bring in? Like, we have recruited the best. People would say, let's go and get Nagelsmann. He was my top pick before Ruben Amorim. You'll all remember that back. But this could happen with Nagelsmann because these players aren't good enough. There's certain players in this team that fit better in other clubs, individually fit better, but as a combine, and what we've recruited in the past and what we've got, all of the individuals together might not work as a team. That's something else that we could also say with this as well. Let's get some more comments in. Goalkeeper, right wing back, times 2 midfielders and a striker should have been the top priority, but Ruben needs to play players in their proper positions. A lot of people will always come up on that. Neil says, midfield, simple as that. We are not competing at the required quality and intensity. I think a lot of people would echo that one. Manny's come in with a super chat. What happened to the United sports psychologists? We got rid of them, didn't we? Ten Hag had someone on $250,000 a year telling them how to study penalties or something like that, was it? Amorim can improve this team, but he needs the shrinks back in. These lads lack focus, determination, and doubt themselves. Opponents know our system and work around it. That's the manager's fault, says Garbage Vids. Thanks for the super chat as well, Manny, on that one. Story says, we have only babies in the manager and coaching. What's that? We have only babies in the manager and coaching. Too young and they do not know Premier League. Not a wonder it goes wrong. Kieran says, the players are good enough. They choose not to do it. They choose to protect self and sabotage. It's still the culture. Still in the culture, he is saying in that one. A couple more. Jin says, I've kept saying this all summer. The midfield is non-competitive, and now everyone can see exactly what I mean. On a basic level, this midfield cannot compete. Honestly, mate, I don't think you was the only one saying it. So yeah, I can't give you the acclaim to that one, buddy. But there's plenty of people that were saying exactly what you were, Ginge, on that, mate. So you are right, buddy. The midfield was talked about quite a lot. It's the Bruno factor. All I'm hearing is Bruno Fernandes being spoken about in every media outlet. Why is he playing Bruno in midfield? He keeps on saying it. Like I said there, with just the completely update you on the financial side of things, Manchester United borrowed a further 105 million to help fund their transfer spending this summer, having upgraded their revolving credit facilities to a maximum limit of 350 million quid. That's what we were saying before regarding Manchester United and their desperate need to try and improve and get players in for Ruben Amorim, have spent and overspent, it would seem. While sources close to Sir Jim Ratcliffe have insisted he remains supportive of Ruben Amorim and points to massively improved data, a reason for their continued belief in him, others argue the statistics mask chronic underperformance. That's from Simon Stone. He will be another journalist in that press conference today. It is going to be a doozy of a press conference today at Carrington. So make sure that you do join us for that live. We'll be giving you the live reaction to everything that's going on from Carrington today around that press conference. It is going to be a hotbed. I'm guessing there's going to be plenty of journalists in there today for that one. Even journalists that don't usually turn up for press conferences will be at that one. But we will obviously bring that to you as the day goes on as well. All right, a couple more chats in. We had a few more super chats. I'll just get through them quickly. Mark Ash with a super chat. Thank you, mates. Ruben Amorim said the system has variations and changes, but players ain't learning the basics yet. Until they get basics, how can he adapt it? These are professionals. It's the basics in football. I think I was arguing this for Ruben's case the other day on Sky when I was saying, look, you're a professional footballer. You have to be able to adapt and learn another system. I don't get it. I will never get that. I could easily go and coach my team now into playing another system and give them instructions and they will get it. And that's the grassroots level. So I don't get it at the top level why we can't handle this. It's crazy. Robbie says, thanks for the super chat, Robbie. Elephant in the room time. Amorim should have said to Bruno, you are going when Saudi came knocking. A new midfielder should have been bought. Instead, we kept, and he's built his team around Ruben. And it is clear, he's built his team around Bruno. It's very clear that the team is being built around Bruno Fernandes because he doesn't get dropped. So it is being built around Bruno Fernandes. And that's a worry for a lot of Manchester United fans because he could be gone next summer. So why the quick fix? Why try and shoehorn Bruno in for a year when that could lose you your job? When really you could be looking towards the future. And again, it just makes no sense at all, does it? It doesn't. The poll that's running right now, get involved in the poll, please, everybody. Do you believe Ruben Amorim can get more out of the current players? 54% of you have said yes on that one so far. Let's get a few more on this. I want to get as many opinions in as possible because there's so many flying around regarding this situation. Is anybody having the fact that Ineos are just backing Ruben Amorim? It is just the analysis says that we are improving, or can we just not ignore the fact that we've got 1 win in 5? We've seen these players play well in all systems, and then we have seen them play like the under-15s. How can we not see these players are a problem? Kieran says they're fully on the players. Boxing Straight Talk says we needed a manager who could get the best out of the squad. That's the fact. Sir Jim is a moron. He will be in the championship next season if he's lucky. Yeah, but 5-2-3, 3-4-3 BS is the problem. Most top teams play with 3 central midfielders because you win games controlling midfield. Clueless on that, actually. Right, I'm going to move on to how the 3-4-3 actually works. I did say this at the start of the show. So everyone will go back to Antonio Conte and the Chelsea side from 16-17 that won the Premier League, playing the famous 3-4-3. It can be done. Managers have won with the 3-4-3 before. But the point I want to make in this is that we've all made quite a lot of, in that midfield in particular, the type of players you need to have this system work for you. So I'm just going to run through some of the members of the Chelsea squad that won the league playing the 3-4-3 for Conte. And it starts straight away in number 1. And not only did you have Asmir Begovic, a seasoned professional goalkeeper, as a stand-in and a number 2, you had one of the best goalkeepers that's played in the Premier League in Thibaut Courtois in goal. So there's one. You've got one of the best that there is in goal. That clearly would help Ruben Amorim right now. Moving into the defence. Okay, so what do you need in defence? You need experience, you need leadership, you need absolute quality. So John Terry's last year, this was, at Chelsea, he was at the heart of that defence. You also had Azpilicueta at age 27 in his prime. David Luiz at age 30, probably in his prime as well. It's up for opinion on David Luiz, whether you think he was good or not, but for Chelsea he was very good. Players like Gary Cahill, seasoned, experienced players at 31. The age of the Chelsea defence tells you a lot as well. Experienced. You can laugh at Marco Alonso and what he played and his role as a wing-back, but this guy played all over the world, won trophies, went to Barcelona, won trophies. He's there as well, age 26. Kurt Zouma was just coming through at 22. Nathan Ake, in fact, just coming through as well into the Chelsea side there. But experience and leadership qualities plus. The big problem that Man United have got in this 3-4-3 is your midfield. If you are going to play 2 midfielders, you need bosses. You need absolute quality. So I'm just going to mention 2 names right now who were in this team for Antonio Conte, and they are Nemanja Matic, age 28, in his prime. N'Golo Kante, age 26, in his prime. I'm sorry. If you've got them 2 in your midfield too, you probably are going to boss games. They are 2 of the best holding midfielders in the Premier League era. Experienced, quality, energy, vision, leadership. That there is what you need in the midfield. And then let's just say the rest of the team. What do you need? You need a striker, for instance. You had Diego Costa, who bagged 20-plus goals in the Premier League that season. Someone who's scoring goals. So straight there, the spine of that team is ridiculous. So then you had the absolute quality around it as well. And what have you got there? Cesc Fabregas, age 30. Eden Hazard, age 26. Pedro, age 29. Willian in his prime, age 28. Fast, experienced, quality. You're talking elite players there in that midfield. That's how a 3-4-3 would work for Manchester United. Ruben Amorim needs backing, and I think most of the squad that are there need flirting. Still, we've got a lot of work to do. Is Sir Jim Ratcliffe willing to back Ruben Amorim to the extent where most of this squad is moved out because they're not good enough? And when you look at the players there that I just mentioned, just some of them names there, you're thinking, you're never going to lose with them sorts of players. So, really, from these meetings and everything that's been said, it's not the system. The system will work. Every manager's system that works in football needs to have the perfect players to work in it. It goes side by side. So it's all right him saying it's the system. And this is where it kind of falls down a bit for him as well. If he hasn't got the players, he knows that Manchester United cannot buy the world. They can't buy every single player perfect for that position in that formation in one summer. You have to adapt. So I get it. The system has worked before, but it's worked with ballers. Ruben can say it's not the system, he needs better. But you was the one that played Bruno in midfield that doesn't know the discipline of that role. You're the one that's playing Manuel Ugarte. Look, as we see it right now, we are looking at a team that is sinking playing in this system. Like, he can carry on, insisting that this is the way. But unless he can coach these players into being better players, that it's never going to work for him. So, look, if goals start going in, we might get a little bit of confidence in this side and they might grow into it. They might start believing in it. I just don't think they believe in it right now, this team. But Ruben coming out of that meeting with Sir Jim Ratcliffe saying it's not the system, it clearly for me means the players. That is what you need. And they're the type of players you need. You need absolute ballers to be playing in this system. Look, don't get me wrong. Pep Guardiola needs the best of the best to play his system. And he hasn't got it right now. He doesn't stand a chance in the Champions League or the Premier League this season for me. He's a mile off it. And look, he's always moved on from club to club. Now he's staying at Manchester City and we're seeing out, what is it, about 7 or 8 years now of Pep Guardiola or something like that. We're finding the flaws because the same squad cannot. He's never rebuilt a squad and gone again. He's never done a Sir Alex Ferguson and changed the squad constantly and rebuilt it. This is the first time he's doing it and he's struggling with it. And it just goes to show. When you go into a club and you get everything given to you, what you want to work in your system, and you're fully backed by a club, you can play whatever you want. But if you've not got the players, other managers would say, I need to adapt a little bit there. So where I get what Ruben is saying and I get the data analysis and I get everything is getting better, how far do you want to climb? Because at the moment, the data analysis is telling us that we're probably just going to scrape back into the top 10. Is that good enough for Manchester United, having spent 200 plus million? It's not, is it, really? You're expecting more. And so the setup that he's got there, the players that he's got, I think is the problem. I think that's what he's getting at. That's my whole look on it, because the Chelsea team there that I just mentioned, to get a team like that quality at Manchester United right now, it's going to take, what, another 3 years possibly to get that? No manager's going to last that long. So how do you survive? You try and change what you've got. You try and work with what you've got a little bit more. And you start getting the best out of your better players in positions that they really do perform in. It's like he feels like he's got all the time in the world to fix this. And he hasn't. Because he's even come out himself and said that he hasn't got that much time. He understands the time. You have to win to earn the right to have time. He said that in his very first few weeks. You have to win games to earn the right to have time. And we're all like, yeah, he's talking like he really understands it here. You cannot keep saying like Ten Hag did, you need this much years, that many years, that you need to keep going. It needs time. You need to get the results first and foremost in a team and a club like Manchester United. And then you can start to adapt and bring in your style and do what you want to do. I think he's gone against what he said at the start, to be honest. Because he feels his system is going to get him them points to give him the time. And it's not. And now he's coming under pressure because of it. So really, he's gone against what he said at the start. And if he doesn't adapt, I don't see these players being able to handle what he wants from them. Don't get me wrong. Some of these players, like some of the really good players, even Mbeumo's, Cunha's, Bruno might come back into form. Sesko might start scoring goals. It may change. But you're always going to have that soft centre. And it will start to unravel. Is there any team out there that you're thinking that Manchester United are better at in the league at the moment, or more organised than in the league at the moment? We're all saying that we can do this and get better, and the data analysis is saying this and that, but when you look at everybody else in the league, nobody's standing still. Everyone's improving, and we are not. We are in a continual sort of regression going down that league table. Season after season, 8th last season, we finished 15th last season. We're already off to our worst Premier League start ever this season as well. It's going one way. How do you stop it? An obvious change is what you do. Manny with a super chat. Thank you, Manny. Mega super chat there, buddy. Until next window, try Agate and Mainu as the pivots. Both 89% pass completion, and Agate leads tackle stats. The second quality is we lack a leader. Maguire starts at centre-back to provide the voice. Mate, Agate, don't get carried away by them stats from Manuel Agate. He gets dribbled past 2 times every single game, but nobody talks about that. That's another stat, and that's a stat that he had at both Sporting and at PSG, which is why Ruben sold him and why Enrique sold him. His pass completion is passing sideways, not progressive passes. Look at the stat for his progressive passes going forward and then start to come back, because that's what's needed. And even Ruben has said that, passing between the lines. That's why he dropped Bruno back in there last season. But again, if you're taking Bruno out of the front line and putting a new front line in, and then you're waiting for them to really hit it off, that's inexperience there at the front. Bruno really probably needed to stay up there or change the shape and help them players up there. That's what it keeps coming down to, doesn't it? System, not a problem, but don't have quality players for the system. Players not as bad as 15th. Maybe other system will fit current players better in the meantime, says Andreas. Yes, Andreas, I think you're right with that, buddy. I think that's what everybody's saying right now. Maybe a different system is the way to go. Maybe it doesn't suit the players. Marcus Rashford seems to be doing all right in the system at Barcelona. This is also something that isn't helping Ruben Amorim right now. Out goes Rasmus Højlund, scores on his debut. Rashford hasn't had a great start, but last night he showed to everybody what he can do. And don't get me wrong, look, Rashford can turn it on when he wants to. Rashford can just go like that and just say, bang, I'm just going to do something for a bit and then just turn off again. And we're not going to get fully carried away by Rashford's one performance last night. But players doing well that have left Manchester United under Ruben Amorim are not going to help him. It's just going to raise the question again. Like, why are these players able to express themselves at other clubs and not under the leadership of Ruben Amorim? That is going to be there continuously. And that question is always going to be asked for every single playoff. Does anybody look at what Marcus Rashford did last night and think, why didn't Ruben get that out of him? Is there anything he could have done? Or are we looking at the same old Marcus Rashford who just turns it on whenever he wants? Tomo in Thailand is back in the house. People, do you think Juan Baleba would change our team and challenge for top 4? No way. Change something and go through a season, and in summer get missing puzzles and pieces of the puzzle, I think you're supposed to say that, and then 3-4-3, but now we need wins. So basically Tomo saying change the system now just to adapt to get wins on the table. Stats to me are total BS in all forms of life. Okay, Robbie not convinced by the stats then. I think you just making it quite clear there, buddy. Good morning. Seen club statement, so it's okay for rival fans to chant all the names under the sun about us and nothing gets done about it. They even mock Munich. As in, this weekend, Manchester United fans warned about the Chelsea chants, the one that everybody knows. I don't even know why it's been made a big deal out of. Again, this will be Chelsea pushing this one across, and United not allowed to sing a certain song. Chris just making out the point there. Try Cobby with Casemiro. That's not really been tried because he usually subs off Casemiro, says Lawrence. Merenti says you could say the same about Bruno Fernandes stats. Don't get carried away. Who improved, mate? 60% of the league haven't spent any money. Who's improved? Well, I would definitely say Crystal Palace. Everton have improved as well. Bournemouth, Brighton and Brentford all improved as well. We're looking at that table there. Sunderland have come in and they're ahead of us so far at the start of their season. There's plenty of teams that have improved, massively improved. And Manchester United have spent a lot of money, but again, we're not moving anywhere. The biggest stat is the league table, and you can't ignore the league table. The old saying, isn't it? The table never lies. Niall says that there's still some very good players in the squad. I agree. The manager should be getting better out of them. I'm so fed up of other clubs in football sacking managers, but we try to find excuses for ours failing. Mian says Amorim can't keep on playing possession football with 5 defenders. Inter and Palace play well because of the low block counter-attacking football. Do we go to counter-attacking football? Is that the way? Is Ruben trying to play possession football and dominate games with this system, and that's all wrong? Any combo out of 4 central midfielders won't work in a 2 central midfielder, so we need to get used to losing because of it, because Amorim won't change to a 3. How many goals has Bruno cost us so far? Does anyone keep count? I'll come back at that one and just say he's playing out of position, and what Bruno's done for us before in winning games out of nothing completely counters that. I'm not going to go in on Bruno Fernandes for that, but you can use that there, Ramza, in a way of saying on Ruben Amorim, he is costing us by playing Bruno there. Not necessarily Bruno. I don't even know if you're going at Bruno there, if you're making the point about Amorim playing him there, mate, but I can't blame Bruno for what's going wrong in this system because he's been played out of position. This is the thing. Like, Ruben going and having this meeting and saying the system's not the problem, but playing players, our best player, out of position, it is part of that system. And the system is failing because of the players that he's playing in certain positions. It clearly is. So, yeah, I cannot fully back him when he says that the system isn't the problem. Look, it's like there's a system for every single player. I mean, Marcus Rashford proved it, didn't he, last night, with scoring the goals and winning the game for Newcastle United. So, for Barcelona against Newcastle United. So, again, I just think that there is a way to get more out of players. And sometimes a manager just needs to take it on the chin and say, look, that's not worked. What we're going to do, we're going to adapt it. We're going to put this in play and work our way towards what I think this team can do in the future. Right now, he can't bring anybody else in. Right now, he's got what he's got. Can he tweak it to fit these players? 100% he can tweak it. It's so simple as well, and everyone can see it. And I hope he somehow puts his system in there and changes it, because he can set out a certain way, and it looks like that system is in play there, but really it's not. You could easily say that in the middle of a game, we go to a 4-4-2, or we go to a 4-3-3. Or we go to the 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-1-3, whatever it may be. That's adaptable in play. It doesn't really matter what formation you put out there, as long as you give the players roles. But he is leaving the defence isolated and the middle two isolated. All he has to do is tuck somebody else in. Like, just play somebody else in there as well. And there are players that can do it. Bruno Fernandes could easily be in there with a midfield three of Casemiro and Agate, or Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo. He could be. And I think we are more than combative to take on Chelsea. I still think United will beat Chelsea because we need a result. I just feel like this is the way that it works with Manchester United. Someone came back at me the other day in the comment section. Adam, you said that we'd win against Man City and we didn't. How do you feel? How do you think we can beat Chelsea? Look, I'm not fully confident. I'm not even confident that the system is going to work. The only thing that I know this club does do is bounce backs. That's it. And that's my only reasoning for Man United beating Chelsea at weekend. They've come off a draining excursion out to Bayern Munich, where they got humbled there. They're not in the best of form right now. I don't know. They could deal with a bounce back, and that could go against my arguments. But I know at Old Trafford, Manchester United could always turn up against anybody, and I fully expect a performance from Manchester United, a togetherness and a real energetic performance against Chelsea. Whether there's any sort of rhythm to the play, or we dominate, or we see phases of play in that, I got no idea. But all I know is that Man United always seem to turn up when the chips are down at Old Trafford, when it's a big game in town, and we will probably beat Chelsea. But I said also at the same time, we will 100% lose to Brentford the following week. We will. I know we will. I'm accepting of where we're at right now until Ruben changes something. But what I'm watching and what I'm seeing right now isn't working. So I'm looking at Ruben and saying, okay, how good a manager are you? How good a coach are you? Because the coaching and the management is two separate things at this stage. The coaching is making these players understand the system. And if you can't do that, you manage. And you manage by moving players around to positions where your coaching has taken them and taken them to a certain level that you know of. So you know that that player can get to that level and cannot excel any further than that. That's your coaching side. Your management kicks in and then you say, right, I can play that player in this sort of game, in this position, and you manage. That's it. Managing and coaching is different. So Alex Ferguson just sat back and let the coaches coach them on the training ground, and then he had everything worked out besides it. Ruben's trying to do everything right now, and he's convinced that this sporting model is going to work in the Premier League. So I'm judging Ruben now off his coaching. Can he make players better? And then I'll look at the management past that. So at the moment, his coaching hasn't worked because no one's got better under him. No one. I think I can comfortably say that. And I think every single Man United fan would probably agree, because we're still languishing in the bottom half of the table. Because we've all said we see something in these players. There is something there in these players. They are good enough, but we're not seeing them fit this system. So as a coach, you have to make them fit this system. If they don't, then you manage. And that's how it should work in football. You have to make sure that you are flexible to what you've got, because you can't change everybody in that squad. And that's the only way that Ruben's system works in a 3-4-3. And he brings in a squad like I just laid off there from Antonio Conte from 16-17. That's the type of level of player you need in a system like this. If you're going to play that two in the middle, you need the best of the best in that. Say, for instance, Manchester United had an Arsenal midfield and he was playing two in the middle. If you had a Declan Rice and a Martin Zubimendi, I would say go for it. Go for it, Ruben. Not a problem at all. Them two players, more than good enough. You haven't got that. You haven't got that. If you, for instance, say you had a Rodri there as one of your holding midfielders and you brought somebody else into the middle there with him, you could probably just get away with it. But we haven't got anyone anywhere near that level or that quality. So what do? You overload. You make up for it in the percentage. It's like Moneyball, isn't it? You make up for it in the average. And that is by playing two players to do one man's job in midfield in this system. You cannot play with two. You have to play with three because the players that you've got are not good enough to hold their own in a two. It's as simple as that. That fixes quite a lot for Manchester United. That makes us solid. That gives us confidence that we're not always going to get overrun in midfield. And then the players in front of them can start to express themselves. It's as simple as Bruno in at 10 behind Joshua Zirkzee, Cunha and Bruno either side of him, and then Agate and Casemiro behind Bruno with a back four. Boom! There you go. Job done. United start moving forward. And by the way, everybody, please pop a like on the video as well. I'm just running through the comment section to make sure I've not missed anything so far. No, super chats are in. Let's get into the normal chat as well to see what people are actually saying. No chance beating Chelsea. Players are ready to throw Amorim under the bus. Abende ready to deliver another clanger. That's going to be one thing that picks Ruben. That's going to really be picked on Ruben Amorim if Lamens doesn't start against Chelsea. Oh, I love to support him. I want to support him. I have supported him, but I can't support that decision. I really can't. I just can't. And that's the Ruben. And that's on Ruben. It didn't prioritise central midfield and thought Bruno could do it. That's on Amorim alone. I think that's Carl just saying what I just said there in not having the three-man midfield. He's got to manage now. Coaching hasn't worked, so manage. That's how I see it going down anyway. Lamens has to start, says Red Devil United. This is where Bruno still causes problems because in a midfield three, he still gets under everyone's feet until he's sold. We're being fed the Bruno show. Come on, Nathan. No, Bruno will thrive with two players behind him because he doesn't have to drop that far back. And if he does drop that far back, then we have actually got more players in the midfield. So it would counter us being overrun in midfield as well. But he is supposed to drop back in as well there and help out. That's part of that system. So I'm not having anybody driving home. Bruno's got to leave. Bruno's been played out of position in this system, and that's the problem this season. Look, Bruno's gone at the end of the season anyway, I feel. We're not going to have to talk about him anymore. We're not going to know how much of a player Bruno is until he's gone. Look, people might be right. We might actually thrive without Bruno Fernandes. We might sink without Bruno Fernandes. I guarantee you Bruno Fernandes will go somewhere else and smash it to pieces, though. He will, and you know he will. And then you're going to be talking about what Scott McTominay's doing, about what Rasmus Højlund's doing, Marcus Rashford's doing, all the players leaving United who are doing better. You're going to be talking about all of that again. And that's what will happen. Look, that is our show this morning, everybody. Thank you so much. Make sure as well you don't miss out on the deals we've got right now. The QR code on your screen is for OK Jerseys. We have a discount code on there right now. If you put Adam into the promo, you'll get 8% off your replica football shirts. Any shirt from around the world. Christmas is coming, so grab yourself your bargains now. £15 to £13 per shirt, and kids kits as well. Full kits. Socks and shorts as well for as little as 15 quid. Get onto that now on OK Jerseys. And of course, Match Bingo is back this weekend. We have a Manchester United special against Chelsea. I'll be playing along at Old Trafford, so make sure that you grab your cards right now. The link is in the live chats in the description. The QR code will also pop up on your screen in just a moment, everybody. Make sure that you grab your bonus right now. If you put in the promo code FUTV, when putting your deposit in or making your account, the promo code section will always be there as well. So even if you haven't done this and you are an existing customer, put it in and boost your deposit amounts by 200%, everybody. Get onto it now. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity. This weekend is mad and you can pick any game you want. It's only £2 a card. Jackpots up to 300 quid in one game. Get it done, people. Get on it right now. And mods, thank you very much. Fantastic job again in there in the live chats. And of course, thank you to all the new subscribers and people who super chatted as well. All the general chats in there. Absolutely brilliant. It's press conference day. So I'll see you all a little bit later on live again this afternoon, everybody. Around about 1:15 is when we'll be probably going in. Yeah, so 1:15. Kickstart everything off and we'll go through that expected spiky sort of press conference from Ruben today with all of what the media have been talking about, and we'll have that covered live later on. That's it for now, everybody. I'll see you all then. Have a